The violent deaths of black men and police officers is felt in the presidential campaign. The events put new light on where the candidates stand on race relations, law enforcement, and gun control. Joining us now to discuss the political response to the shootings is Washington Post columnist Catherine Rampell. Catherine, good morning.
Good morning.
A lot of people want to know how these two diverse candidates are responding. So let's start off with Clinton. What has she said?
She has basically said it's a time to come together, to get over our hatreds, to think about police training, to think about gun control, sort of the standard points that you would expect given her policy positions thus far.
And what about Donald Trump's response to this?
He has been remarkably restrained, given the enormity of the tragedy and the way that he has responded to previous shooting tragedies in recent weeks. Released a statement basically saying that these are horrible events. This is senseless violence. I think those are the terms that he used, and called out specifically the tragedy in Dallas, as well as the shootings of two black men by police officers.
How do you think at this point what's happened in the last week will affect the campaign and these two candidates?
You know, it's very hard to say. In a sense, this was a horrible week, a terrible week. And in a sense, it's not so far of a departure from other things we've seen in the last several months. And so will it necessarily change the tone of the campaign? Will it necessarily put, for example, more momentum behind gun control legislation? It doesn't seem that way, given that we hadn't had that after Orlando. Yeah. Whether or not that becomes more of an issue in the campaign going forward, it doesn't seem likely, unfortunately, at this point.
Just quickly, though, I'm curious. The Black Caucus is demanding a gun control vote. Do you think that will happen?
No. I mean, certainly not before they go on to their recess, I believe, next week. Or sometime soon in any case. If we didn't see this after Orlando, if we didn't see this after Newtown for that matter, right, it seems very unlikely that despite the many tears shed and hugs shared over this past week, that the calculus will change very much for many politicians.
The shootings overshadowed the news at the beginning of the week somewhat, which was the FBI's report on Clinton's emails while she was in the State Department. How do you think she spoke about it somewhat yesterday? How do you think she's handled this? Is she past this?
No, certainly not. It looked like this might be the closing of this chapter, right? The FBI has said that they were going to make a recommendation that there was not enough material to indict. The Attorney General chose to accept that recommendation, and yet, of course, there was a lot of damning material that came out in the process of those announcements, both in terms of disclosures of new facts about some of her emails being marked classified when she had said that there were no such emails, and you know the hearing itself and other comments made by FBI Director Comey that will provide ample material for many attack ads going forward.
Right. We've got to leave it there. Catherine Rampell, thanks so much.